Well, good morning, everybody. It's Eric, Libertarian Car Guy from epautos.com, and I'm driving down the road here in this 2015 Nissan Rogue. It's actually not very roguish. It's actually pretty nice. I think Rogue is kind of an inappropriate name. It's actually it does the vehicle a disservice. It's a nice, plush, soft, luxurious car. It's not at all particularly quick or fast or great handling, but it's a nice crossover, and it's rather unusual in that there aren't many compact crossovers, which is what this is, that have a third row or offer a third row. This one does, and that makes it rather unusual. At any rate, I'm not really here to talk so much about the Rogue as I am to do another vidcast with you, and I'd like to talk about something that comes up often when libertarians debate authoritarians, and that is, what about the roads? This is a very reflexive bleat that I encounter often, and I'm sure that you've probably encountered others who attempt to discuss libertarian ethics and philosophy encounter whenever we have to argue with somebody about our position. Their premise is ridiculous on the face of it, and the premise is, well, let me pause a moment. I've got a Clover. I've got a past. Clover, Clover, old truck Clover, Clover. Okay, where were we? All right, the premise that they operate from is that people will not pay for things that they value and need, which is preposterous. Stop and think about everything from fast food to a house, anything you can think of that doesn't require somebody sticking a bayonet in your back and telling you that you have to buy it. In fact, a red flag should go up if the given item, whether it's a product or a service, is something that requires government coercion in order for it to exist. That tells you that something's off, that the value of the item is not equivalent to what people are willing to put on the table in terms of money. It's very simple, straightforward economics. If you want something and if you perceive it to be more valuable to you than the money that you have, or worth the money that you have, why, then you'll buy it, and no force is necessary. The real problem that we have with roads, with government roads, is that we're not offered the choice. There is no market mechanism. The government simply does things like eminent domain land and steal people's property at gunpoint, and then it paves the road down, and it forces us to pay for the roads arbitrarily at its own determined schedule without any market mechanism involved whatsoever, which is why, incidentally, you'll often see these construction projects and work projects that seem to have no purpose. For example, you'll see them paving over or tearing up and paving over a seemingly perfectly good road. And you wonder, why are they doing that? Well, it's entirely possible that the reason that they're doing that is that the local Department of Transportation has a certain amount of money left in the budget for this calendar year, and if they don't spend it, then next year when the appropriations process begins, they'll worry that they won't get an equivalent or greater sum. So therefore, they find something to spend it on. In other words, there's no check or balance on the spending of money and on the building of a project. Now, if we had a free market in roads, we might not have, I will admit, the network of roads that currently exist in the United States. That's possible. But what we would have is the free market mechanism that would result in roads that people deemed to be worth having were built and properly maintained, and also that more rational rules would apply. For example, we all complain, at least I complain, a lot of other people complain, about often ridiculous, absurd, dumbed-down traffic laws, everything from ludicrously underposted speed limits to things like having to wait at a red light for no reason when it's clear there's no traffic coming. Well, if we had a free market in roads, there would be competition, and one road might, for example, be a toll road that permits unlimited speeds, and another might be a road where the speeds are limited to X. And the market would determine which type of road would survive based on who was willing to pay for them. And I think that would be a good thing. I often have trouble understanding why authoritarian collectivists have such a problem with the free market, emphasis on free, with people freely putting their money where their mouth is, as opposed to some people using guns, the government force, to compel people to act against their own interests, which amounts to one person using force to make other people pay for what he wants. It's not a question of each of us paying for what we want. Some people believe they have a right to force other people to pay for what they want, which I think is ethically dubious, intellectually indefensible. I don't see how you can justify such a thing except on the basis of, well, I've got the gun and I'm willing to use it to threaten you with violence, which is an ethical system that should have been thrown in the woods a long time ago. Libertarians base their ethics on something called voluntarism, which means people freely deciding to cooperate with one another or not, acting in concert if they believe that it's in their mutual interest to do so, and if not, not. You discuss something with your neighbor or with your neighbors, plural, and if people come to some agreement about a project and are willing to support it, well, great, you support it. So that is, in essence, the rebuttal that I have to people who rant that if libertarian philosophy were the dominant philosophy of the country, were run according to the non-aggression principle that libertarians base their ethics on, we'd have no roads, which is as ridiculous as saying we'd have no McDonald's and we'd have no homes and we'd have none of the other things that are readily available because people want them and there's a market for them, and therefore people are willing to produce them and people are willing to pay for them. So that's it for this rant/vidcast. I hope you'll stop by the site, epautos.com, leave your comments one way or the other. Perhaps I've left something out that I should have put in. You might have thought of something that I'm not thinking of here. And of course, there are other vidcasts, on other subjects also up on the site. And please check those out as well. And we will catch up with you next time. Thanks.